The chime of the bell beckons us into a sacred time. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston, where we widen love's circle by honoring the inherent worth and dignity of all. We extend a heartfelt and inclusive invitation for you to join us in meaningful worship and in service to the world. Buenos días y bienvenidos a esta comunidad donde ampliamos el círculo del amor, honrando el valor y la dignidad inherentes de todas. On this Sunday, after so many of us have given thanks, I would like to express my gratitude for being here with you this morning. We greet all those who join us this morning and hope those watching the live stream will fill out the online attendance form and refer to the many announcements in the online order of service. We ask those here in person to take a moment after the service and introduce yourself to someone you don't already know. Now, if you could pick up your gray hymnals and turn to number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. Please rise in body or in spirit and join your voices in song.
Whether by habit or out of need, whether in body or through cyberspace, you entered this sanctuary, light shining, sky inside, open space for hearts and minds. Here we come together, carving an hour out of our week to be together. We can leave the chaos, the schedules, the demands at the door. And we can sit together, sing together, be silent together, grow together, feel our spirits stir together. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Houston. Come, let us worship together.
Please join with me in reading the words that are printed in your order of service to our congregational covenant. Love is the spirit of our congregation. Service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to encourage one another. Thus do we covenant.
We light an Advent wreath to mark both the days approaching the solstice and the advent of Christmas. Inspired by neo-pagan tradition, the first Sunday of Advent, we light a candle in the south, honoring the element of fire. Fire burns away the old and creates space for the new. Inspired by the Christian tradition, the first candle is lit to symbolize the expectation of hope. We hear the words of Desmond Tutu. Hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. On this first Sunday of Advent, we set this first candle ablaze with the element of fire to burn through the darkness and to bring us hope. Blessed be. World AIDS Day is commemorated each year on December 1st. First observed in 1988, organizations and individuals across the world bring attention to HIV epidemic and call for an increased response to move toward ending it. Today, we light this candle in memory of those we have lost to AIDS, to honor those working to erase the stigma, and to thank those working to make sure fewer people die each year from the disease. it is time for the story for all ages. So if you are young in heart or in body, come up here so that you can see all the pages. Today, we're reading Ish by Peter H. Reynolds. Ramon loved to draw. Anytime, anything, anywhere. One day, Ramon was drawing a vase of flowers. His brother, Leon, leaned over his shoulder. Leon burst out laughing. "What is that?" he asked. Ramon could not even answer. He just crumpled up the drawing and threw it across the room. Leon's laughter haunted Ramon. He kept trying to make his drawings look right, but they never did. After many months and many crumpled sheets of paper, Ramon put his pencil down. "I'm done." Marisol, his sister, was watching him. "What do you want?" he snapped. "I was watching you draw," she said. Ramon sneered. "I'm not drawing. Go away." Marisol ran away, but not before picking up a crumpled sheet of paper. "Hey, come back with that." Ramon raced after Marisol, up the hall and into her room. He was about to yell, but fell silent when he saw his sister's walls. He stared at the crumpled gallery. "This is one of my favorites," Marisol said, pointing. "That was supposed to be a vase of flowers," Ramon said, "but it doesn't look like one." "Well, it looks vase-ish," she exclaimed. "Vase-ish?" Ramon looked closer. Then he studied all the drawings on Marisol's walls and began to see them in a whole new way. "They do look ish," he said. Ramon felt light and energized. Thinking ishly allowed his ideas to flow freely. He began to draw what he felt, loose lines, quickly springing out without worry. Ramon once drew again, and drew the world around him. Making an ish drawing felt wonderful. They filled his journals, tree-ish, house-ish, boat-ish, afternoon-ish, fish-ish, sun-ish. Ramon realized he could draw his feelings-ish too. Peace-ish, silly-ish, excited-ish. His ish art inspired ish writing. He wasn't sure if he was writing poems, but he knew they were poem-ish. One spring morning, Ramon had a wonderful feeling. It was a feeling that even ish words and ish drawings could not capture. He decided not to capture it. Instead, he simply savored it. And Ramon lived ishfully ever after.
Now it's time to send our children off to religious education. So can you all join with us as we sing them away?
This is the time in the service where we can pause. We can find peace in a moment of silence. Please join me in the spirit that some call meditation and others name prayer. Settle your body into a comfortable place. You may want to stretch or adjust how you're seated, or shake out a little tension. See if you can make yourself just 10% more comfortable. Take one deep breath in and out, and then another in and out. Open your mind, open your heart. For today's meditation, I want to bring the words of Mary Oliver in her poem Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are headed home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. Amen. We pause now together to lift up that which sits heavy and light on our hearts. We now turn to a practice inspired by African, indigenous, and pagan traditions. We say aloud, or bring to mind, those who we wish to be held by the loving embrace of this religious community. They are part of the great cloud of witness and memory, and we will, even if we do not know their names, hold them in our hearts. In this great cloud of witness and memory, amid this beloved community, we hear these names and hold them in our hearts. Let us remember the suffering and joy amid our community that we do not know. We pause in awe and wonder of the beauty, diversity, and mystery that is life. In the spirit of love, in the spirit of hope, and in the spirit of compassion, I invite each of you to enter into a time of silent prayer, meditation, or reflection.
Each week, our morning offering is shared with an organization that shares our Unitarian Universalist values and through which we may live out our principles in the world. This week, we are donating to the English as a Second Language program at Emerson UU Church, and here to tell us more is our own Albert Puccio.
Good morning. My name is Albert Puccio. I'm a proud member of First UU Church and an assistant teacher at Emerson's UU English as a Second Language program. I'm deeply grateful for this opportunity to share our program's mission and its pressing need for your support. Teaching English to immigrants is one of the most powerful ways to integrate them into our community and to set them on a path to citizenship. With over a quarter of Houston's population being immigrants, according to Rice University's Kinder Institute, our work is vital. Today, our students hail from places like Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Turkey, Venezuela, Haiti, Sudan, Eritrea, amongst others. This diversity not only enriches our classrooms, but also reflects the core UU principle of upholding the inherent worth and dignity of every person. During our most recent registration, we enrolled 118 students speaking 12 languages, including Spanish, Russian, Farsi, and Vietnamese. Thanks to the support from our donors, we've expanded to 5 class levels, each at full capacity with 20 students. Our program is entirely free for the students, self-funded and volunteer-driven. Your donations have already allowed us to hire a part-time program coordinator, Patty Ryan, who is a member of this church, who organizes volunteers and recruits students. But we need ongoing support to maintain her role and provide textbooks, which cost $36 each. Students contribute $10 if they're able, but we rely on donations to cover the rest. In addition to financial support, we need volunteers. Teaching just 2 hours a week can make a transformative difference. I'm proud to serve alongside fellow First Church member John Naylor, and we'd love to welcome more of you to join us. Please feel free to speak with Patty, John, or myself about our experiences with this program. Our program changes lives. Students become better equipped to communicate with their children's schools, succeed in the workplace, and engage in the broader community. In the classroom, we see friendships bloom between people of vastly different backgrounds, united by the shared goal of learning English. As we prepare for our spring semester starting in January 2025, I invite you to consider how you can help. Whether through donations or volunteering, your contribution fosters inclusivity, education, and hope. Thank you for this opportunity to share Emerson's ESL program with you. Together, we can continue to make a meaningful difference.
Those in our sanctuary will find the instructions for text giving in your order of service, and those watching the live stream will see the instructions on your screen. Our regular Sunday morning offering collection invites us to weave a tapestry of love and action. An offering will now be gratefully received.
help me dedicate the offering. To the work of this church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
Our first reading this morning is Each of Us is an Artist by Arthur Graham. Each of us is an artist whose task it is to shape life into some semblance of the pattern we dream about. The molding is not of self alone, but of shared tomorrow and times we shall never see. So let us be about our task. The materials are very precious and perishable. Here ends the reading.
Our second reading today is The Stars Are Dancing by Om Prakash. The stars are dancing tonight while the moon sits in her golden hammock, swaying back and forth to the rhythm of celestial voices. The beloved is full of rapture, dancing worlds and stars into being, drunk with the wine of passion, and filling the heavens with song. Do not sit alone in the dark while creation sings three-part harmony. Dance, my friends, dance wildly, sing joyfully. Fill your heart with the beauty of the beloved as the beloved turns your soul to light. Herein ends the reading.
I invite you to open your hymnals to number 22, Dear Weaver of Our Lives' Design. Please rise in body or spirit. Chelsea will play this song all the way through because I know it's not a familiar one, and then we'll all sing together. Thank you.
Good morning. For those of you who do not know me, I am a senior at Rice studying religion and studio art with a minor in creative writing. I plan to attend seminary to become a Unitarian Universalist minister. While that is still very much the plan, over the last 4 years, I have rediscovered and nourished a deep love of art. I may have shown you my work for my art classes during coffee hour, and I was always an artsy kid. I loved painting and crafting and anything I could get my hands on. I stopped taking art classes in 8th grade, but I came back to it my freshman year of college. I was taking these religion classes, and they were an existential crisis in a class. thinking about consciousness and cognition and how humans have grappled for thousands of years with the struggles of life, I needed to get out of my head and into my body. So I took a sculpture class, and I declared the art major, and I just kept going. Art has taught me so many things, but what I want to focus on today is what art has taught me about mistakes. Art has taught me that taking risks and opening yourself up to making mistakes allows for more growth and more enjoyment of life. My sophomore year, I was taking 2 studios at the same time, beginning drawing and beginning painting. I was in these 2 classes for 12 hours a week, plus many more for homework. I did not know how to draw. While I had taken art classes in middle school, we had used tracing tables and that grid method, I could not look at something and make it appear on the page, and certainly none of this plumbing, closing one eye and holding up your thumb and moving it back and forth. I was an art major, and I didn't know how to draw. We drew a lot of still lifes, nonsensical ones with orbs and cones and boxes and random objects that only make sense to learn drawing skills. And I would choose the easiest view of these objects. I would spend what felt like double or triple the time drawing these things as some of my peers, staying late after class, coming in for hours in the evening. We would get to critique day, and I would pin my drawings up next to everyone else's. Despite spending all of this extra time, my drawings always felt to me like the least developed. I could never get the proportions right, and I could never get the darkness I needed from my pencils. I felt like I was trying endlessly just to have it not measure up to the other drawings on the wall. Learning how to draw was not easy, but it was made so much better by my fellow classmates and my professors. That room, with floors covered in graphite and charcoal, so dirty that I don't dare wear light-colored pants. The room covered in countless students' marks, intentional and mistaken, blurred into one big mess, has become one of my favorite rooms at Rice. I have learned that there was nowhere else I would rather make a million mistakes than that room. Even when I saw nothing in the drawing I had hung for that week, my peers would find things to compliment me on. For one still life, I was complimented on the contour lines of a vase. The comment lasted probably 5 seconds, but the vase had taken hours, and my heart fluttered, and I felt so much better about my piece after the comment. They gave me constructive criticism too, and it was helpful. I knew that I was not drawing how I wanted to, but I didn't know how to get from where I was to where I wanted to be. My peers and professors helped me see the staircase and noticed when I had climbed a step. The noticing was what I needed. They saw the progress that felt invisible. I can now draw. My professor told us on the first day of class that by the end of the semester, we would be able to look at a vase of flowers and draw it, and people would know what it was. I did not believe him, but of course, he was right. I kept making drawings that I wasn't happy with. Instead of freezing, instead of dropping the class or the major, I kept trying. I kept showing up. I learned that the best way to make one right mark is to have an eraser in hand and to make 15 wrong marks if that is what it takes. I learned to nudge, to keep erasing and redrawing, taking the distorted form on the paper in front of me towards the one I saw on the pedestal. I figured out how to leverage my materials to be what I needed. I learned to love the oh-so-messy mediums of charcoal and ink. I learned that the goal of having the paper be perfectly white, no smudges, no erase marks, was not one for me. I learned to enjoy this instead of fearing the moment when I made a mistake. And I learned that sometimes I want a wonky drawing, that the wonky drawings are really fun to look at and to make. Our academic grading system rewards perfection and memorization, and does not reward risk-taking or mistake-making. You get points off for mistakes. I have never seen a rubric with points for risks taken or mistakes learned from. My art classes reject that grading system, instead grading based on effort and growth. In that drawing class, I also learned that you do not grow from the easy path. Making a drawing that I know exactly how it will turn out is not interesting or enjoyable for me, and it does not push me to grow. Making a drawing that I have questions and uncertainties about, one where I will make mistakes, even when they are so uncomfortable to make, has taught me so much more. Making mistakes is hard, and the skill of being bad at something is not a skill often talked about. We value and reward people who are skilled, but we do not often reward people, adults, who are trying and making mistakes. I've heard the phrase, "You cannot teach an old dog new tricks," but I wonder if the truth lies in the dog or in the humans that do not get out the treat bag for his attempted tricks. Yes, it may be true that our ability to learn new skills decreases as we get older, but does that not make it even more impressive when we try new things? A story that reminds me of the beauty of mistakes is Sisyphus. After tricking the Greek gods, he was tortured with a rock that he had to roll up a hill, only for it to, time and time again, roll down before he could reach the top. He then must return to the rock, walking down the hill, only to try again and again for eternity. Making mistakes can feel like a Sisyphean task. For me, the messy medium of ink drawings with no ability to erase showed me that mistakes are a part of the art-making process. Ink drips from my quill onto my still pristine paper, and I cannot erase it. I must instead embrace it, hatching lines here and there. And just as I think I have integrated the ink splotch, not making it invisible, but instead making it feel at home in the piece, another droplet somehow flings from my pen, and I must do it again and again and again. It is Sisyphean. When we think of an amateur, we think of someone who does not know what they are doing, who makes lots of mistakes, who is not good, and who is not very committed. But the word amateur comes to us from French, where it means one who loves. Amateur and amore and amorous all come from the same Latin root word meaning love. To be an amateur is to love something, to make plenty of mistakes, and to keep going anyways. To be an amateur is to not work towards profit or professionalism, but to keep doing this thing you love out of love. I am an amateur. I am an amateur sewist, an amateur photographer, an amateur poet, an amateur cook. I'm an amateur at country line dancing. I love it. Not knowing the dance, but finding that person who's calling out the moves and trying my best, and laughing when I step wrong. It is worth it for the feeling of momentum pulling my body around, me barely thinking about it, and letting my body and physics take control, just as everyone else in the crowd is doing. I am an amateur at life. I love life. I love being in community, feeling that thing that is in us and between us, and connecting us. I love seeing everything that the great big earth has to offer. But loving life as an amateur also means making mistakes. My path is littered with mistakes, from spilling my coffee, to missing deadlines, to hurting the people I love. Living a life that embraces mistakes, that asks what mistakes have to teach me, means that I will always be facing the Sisyphean task of always trying to be just a bit better, always making things right when I can. When I make another mistake, when the rock rolls back down the hill, I will turn around, not trudging back down, but standing tall, walking confidently to meet the task. We humans have somewhat of an affinity for Sisyphus. It is one of the Greek myths that I hear the most often. There is something relatable about endlessly trying and endlessly failing. Just as we think we have a handle on the task at hand, Just as we see the crest of that mountain, the weight of the rock exceeds the force we are applying, and it all tumbles down. It feels never-ending. But maybe the torture has lost some power over the millennia. For every time that Sisyphus has to push the rock up, only for it to roll back down, Sisyphus gets to walk downhill. He gets to look over the valley and appreciate all the other things happening. Maybe he hears a muse playing a harp a ways off. He feels the sand between his toes, how it shifts beneath his weight. He gets the sweet relief of walking downhill and without the weight of the boulder. There is beauty and meaning for Sisyphus to find in his task. He must walk down to meet the boulder. It is his punishment. He gets to find the beauty. It is his reward. We find beauty in lots of places. We cherish and applaud a mediocre performance by, say, a young child. They are slow, they hit the wrong keys, they do not play complicated music. But if I were to walk over to the piano and hit those keys, even after taking my fair share of piano lessons, y'all might stare, maybe applaud awkwardly, a sparse couple claps. There would be a palpable itch for it to be over, and it might be the topic of whispered conversation during coffee hour. There is this idea that once you reach a certain age, you cannot be mediocre, or heaven forbid, bad at something. There is this thought that you should have learned this already, or you shouldn't try at all. And if you are to try, it should be in private. You should only emerge from your room, instrument in hand, when you are good. And I think that is stupid. I think everyone should do more things that they are bad at. I want to hear your shaking fingers on the piano. I want to see your unskilled art. I want to see the thing that you drew and immediately wanted to tear out the page, crumple it up, and throw it away. I want to hear the song that you sang when no one was home, the one you sang as loud as you could, even that part where you forget the lyrics and stumble through. I want to be standing in the kitchen with you when you make that meal and you burn it so bad that you want to just throw the pot away. You have to open up all of the doors and the windows and turn on all of the fans to get the smell out. I want to read the poetry that you hide in the back of notebooks, or maybe it's in your notes app. The ones where the metaphor is not quite right and it's full of questionable rhymes. I know you have a dream that you wish you had chased when you were younger, when it was more acceptable to not be good. I encourage you, when you go home, to consider being bad at it, just a little. You can do it with the door closed. I won't tell anyone. But eventually, when you are ready, open the door. The world has room for you and your bad art.
Thank you, Artie. I'm going to remember to be ish more often. And now I invite you to open your teal hymnals to number 1053. How could anyone? Please rise in body or spirit as you lift your voices in song.
As we extinguish our chalice, please read with me the words that are printed in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Go out into the world, find the beauty in the doing, find the love in the actions. When the boulder falls, because we know it will, raise your head high, your shoulders down, and walk to meet it. Enjoy the view and the way down.
Thank you for joining us. We want to know who you are and would love to connect with you. Please fill out the link to the online attendance form, and if you are on YouTube, click like and subscribe. If you're interested in joining our congregation, email us at membership@firstuuhouston.org. Thanks so much.